In recent years, adventure sports have taken over social media and streaming videos. I mean, you can't even load your favorite app or streaming service without seeing clips for a giant wave surfing, extreme mountain biking, or some crazy base jumping. Well, in the world of adventure sports, water plays a huge role in many of them. That's why we wanted to introduce H2O fans to the sport of spearfishing. But hold on, you might say spearfishing is not a sport. Well, you'd be wrong. Spearfishing has grown into an international sport with competitions around the world and international rankings. And guess what? One of the top spearfisher woman, lives and trains right here in South Florida. And we got the chance to go out on the water with her. Meet Julie Higgs. Julie is a true waterman. She's been sailing since she was just a little girl. She surfs, she loves to fish, she's a firefighter, a freediver. Oh, and did we mention that she's a world-class spearfisher?
All right, y'all, I'm super excited because it's been a long time coming, but we're finally going out with Julie Higgs, who is known for spearfishing. You have a YouTube channel about it. You've been going for a while. So I guess kind of first thing I want to talk about is you've been going to the Bahamas and started spearfishing from a young age. So talk a little bit about, growing up doing this.
Well, we grew up doing it on a really small sailboat, and it would take us 24 hours to cross to the area in the Bahamas that we like to go. And we'd work out of a really small inflatable, and we'd shoot fish. We'd eat fish every night for dinner and sleep on the sailboat on an island where there was nobody around, and we would spend our summers doing that, and it was really a great way to grow up.
Julie really did grow up in the water. And as she's grown, her skills in freediving and spearfishing did too. In 2014, Julie entered her first tournament, and since has gone on to win numerous competitions. She holds 8 world records in spearfishing and is a member of the US spearfishing team and competes for our country around the world. So I thought, hey, this is a great chance for me to get some tips from a world-class freediver.
Most of the time, we're not breathing correctly. Okay. Most people breathe with the top portion of their lungs. It's just, especially for women, we're trying to look skinny. We don't think much about it, but your lungs are so long, and the correct way to breathe is with your stomach out first and then fully expand your chest. And to fully inflate your lungs, you're getting a much deeper, more oxygenated breath.
Julie also says you need to be as relaxed as possible. The more relaxed you are, the less oxygen your body uses. And when you do take that deep breath and start your descent, lose the snorkel. Many beginners try to hold the snorkel in their mouth while trying to hold their breath. And this makes clearing and holding your breath even harder.
And once you learn that, not only does it help you to relax, you take a bigger breath and you can hold your breath for longer.
Julie says besides the breathing techniques and physical fitness, never dive alone. And divers need to be aware of their surroundings. Every dive has its own characteristics.
Different parts of Florida have a completely different fishery. So when we travel for these tournaments, and it can be in freshwater, it can be in saltwater, it's different fish regulations, different diving conditions, high current, no current, cold water, warm water. You need a different set of gear, a different gun. You need to learn the fish species.
As Julie has grown in the world of spearfishing, so has her excitement to introduce more people to the sport.
Bringing new people into the sport is really cool. A lot of people have turned to me to help bring more women into the sport, and I think this next Nationals, which is going to be in the Keys, is going to have a record amount of women turn out, and I hope that's the case. And the more women who compete, the stronger the Team USA will be, and it's a better representation of the United States.
And yes, you heard that correct. This year's U.S. Spearfishing Nationals will be held in the Keys, July 15th through the 19th out of Islamorada.
Well, and you're like local here in Florida, so people are, everyone that watches you and sees what you do, they're gonna wanna go to the Keys and kind of check it out too. Which is gonna be nice. You're probably gonna have a swarm of people.
It does help that it's in a location where there are a lot of divers and a lot of people want to go to the Keys. It's a tournament, but it's also a vacation.
I have to say, just talking to Julie about the sport of spearfishing and seeing her passion for the sport got me really excited for the day that we had ahead of us. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, Julie and I go over the day's game plan for our dives and hopefully get a successful day of fishing. SoFlo H2o will be right back. Welcome back to SoFlo H2o. So far today, we've shown you the beautiful Du Bois Park in Jupiter, checked out some new accessories for the GoPro cameras that we use, and caught up with Captain Mike from SeaTow Fort Lauderdale. We also talked to world record holder and U.S. spearfishing team member Julie Higgs as we headed out for a day of spearfishing. So now, let's take a look at how our trip with Julie went.
All right, Julie, so what is our game plan today? What are you gonna have me do or, us do before we get in the water?
Well, we're coming out of the Stewart Inlet, and by the looks of it, the water is really clear in shallow, which is pretty exciting. There's a small wreck in shallow I want to take you guys to. It'll be a great warm-up spot. It normally has a couple fish on it, so I'm pretty excited that we have this kind of visibility. Then we'll start working our way a little bit deeper. In Stewart, there's a lot of rubble piles and wrecks, and a lot of them are in 50, 60 feet. And even though it sounds kind of deep, there are some fish that come up to the surface.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll find some nice fish.
We ran to the first spot that was close to the inlet, but since the tide was going out and visibility was poor, we couldn't really fish there. So we ran south between St. Lucie Inlet and Jupiter Inlet to some rock piles in about 60 to 70 feet. Time to put on our gear and finally get in the water. Julie did give me some great instruction on basic techniques as we got ready.
The calmer you are and the closer you get, the more likely you are to land the fish. You try your best to aim for the head. You could try not to splash too much, get as close to the fish as possible. You're gonna have more of a chance of landing it.
The current plays a big role in how you approach the area that you're gonna fish. You want to do the drifts with the current down to the location or structure you're going to dive on.
All right, I'm following your lead, so let's get in here.
Julie lowers shiny reflective plastic discs attached to a line. These are called flashers. They reflect light in the water to look like bait fish and hopefully attract bigger fish. The water is beautiful and so clear. We make a couple of drifts and dive down to the structure, but no luck yet. On our third drift, things get exciting. Julie makes a drop and I follow, going as deep as I can to watch. Julie continues down to 65 feet and sees a fish on her way down.
About halfway down, I saw this guy dip into a hole. I was really hoping he would stay in the hole, but he didn't. So I kind of chased around a lot longer than I wanted to, and it got to the point where it was now or never, and I took a longer shot than I wanted, but it was good enough. I think I might have hit part of the spine, because luckily he didn't fight too hard. I let some line out while I was coming up just to get myself to the surface, and yeah, we landed a really nice fish. What? This thing was cute.
Julie shot and landed a huge mutton snapper. Woo! The dive and the shot were both perfect, and watching it was simply amazing. I mean, 65 feet down and stalking the fish on a single breath? I can see why Julie is one of the best in the world at what she does.
I mean, you see it up next to her. When she was pulling it up and like swimming up with it, it looked so much smaller, because it's further down. I didn't know how far down it was. And then she comes up with this fish and I was just blown away. Like, I still am in shock. She's like, oh, I do this all the time. And I'm like, no, that thing is huge in the boat right now.
Yeah, this is
incredible.
We're not gonna have to measure this one. It's a good one.
Well, thank you for bringing us out here. This was probably the best outcome that we could have had coming out here. It took us a little bit. We swam around. I tried to keep up with you, but I honestly appreciate it, and this just made the day.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really enjoying being out here with you guys, and I'm excited to enjoy this for dinner with you.
Our day with Julie ended on such a great note. We got to tell stories about the day with the crew on the ride home. And we agreed that we'll catch up with Julie in future episodes of SoFlo H2o.
Yeah, you did great.
Remember, if you want to see any of our past episodes, you can always go to our YouTube channel. And if you guys want to share some of your fun experiences in the water, just send it to our Instagram, SoFlo H2o Show. If you want to stay up to date with all of our adventures on the water, be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms by scanning the QR code right there on your screen.
Wow, what a show. Above the surface, we all know how beautiful our little piece of paradise is. But today we decided to give you a little glimpse into the sheer peace and beauty that lie just below the surface. We hope that we inspired you to get active and explore it all on your own. And just remember, if you want to have fun in South Florida, just add water.